And now give the floor to the distinguished representative from the major group for NGOs.
Chair. My name is Maite Rodriguez Blandón. I'm from Guatemala, representing the Community Practitioners Platforms for Resilience from Wider Commission and Groups International. We are one of the 4 groups co-leading the NGOs major group. We would like to affirm the inclusivity of this process that we have seen as evidence, preamble, and guiding principles which take strides to capture the discussions had at the regional platforms and preparatory and informal consultations prior to this draft. We urge the co-chairs and Bureau on 3 points which we feel represent the most critical sections. Number 1, include local at-risk communities, local authorities, and facilitating NGOs as the key stakeholders for localizing HFA2. This will ensure locally appropriate risk governance at the local level. And it will support inclusive urban and regional planning in order to build better from the start, to build community resilience through local, indigenous, and scientific knowledge, which are important values we share with the local authorities, private sector, labor unions, science and technology, and indigenous major groups. Local perspectives of risk realities need to inform design, implementation, and monitoring of DRR, particularly those of people most at risk, including but not limited to women, children, youth, older persons, persons with disabilities, and indigenous groups, organized at-risk communities in partnership with their local authorities and facilitating NGOs are best positioned to develop strategies that can address the diversity and complexity. As we move from policy to practice, the framework needs to build on the existing capacities of local communities. The Regional Platform for the Americas highlighted the need to place community participation at the center of risk management in order for the framework to reflect realities on the ground and to build on the unique knowledge and capacities that communities have to offer. The 5th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in Nigeria, the Regional Consultation for Central Asia, and the 2nd Arab Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Egypt all highlighted the need to build local governance capacities and institutionalize inclusion of civil society in program design, implementation, and monitoring. However, the Zero Draft is concentrated heavily on policy action and less on community-based action. While sections A and C of the Zero Draft reference the need for a people-centered framework and reference the contributions of communities, local authorities, and facilitating NGOs, this needs to be reflected in the priorities for action, including in the form of actions around strengthening local level leadership and empowerment, and establishing participatory level monitoring mechanisms at local level. It also needs to be reflected in the stakeholder section, which should present local communities in partnership with local authorities, civil society organizations as the primary stakeholders, contributors and leaders to build resilient communities as the foundation of resilient nations. The number 2, we would like to see a greater emphasis on the underlying risk factors such as development and climate change. And 3, there is need for policy and implementation coherence between the emerging post-2015 processes which address climate change and sustainable development. Thank you very much.